What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by for today's video on Radian's Ramjet with the Afterburner compensator on there. Now, this thing is legal in all 50 states, which is a pretty big deal for me living in California, where somehow threaded barrels are more dangerous than regular barrels. So this doesn't have to be screwed on like a traditional compensator. We'll kind of go into that here in a little bit. But before we get started, I actually came out to public land. I do not have a magazine for this, so there is no ammo in here. It's perfectly safe. And while you can hear gunshots off into the distance, there is no one behind the camera, and there's no one pointed really in any area. They're kind of over in another valley, just over a hill right in front of me. So I'm not pointing this at anyone at any point in time, all right? Disclosures, I purchased this 100% by myself. This video is fully sponsored by yours truly, me. Radian doesn't know me. They didn't send this out to me. They didn't give me a discount, anything like that. So speaking about a discount, this thing is not cheap. It is $389 with 95 cents. So $390. And then you got to throw in their tax and shipping to wherever you live. So it's not cheap. Radian does say that this reduces recoil by 44% when using standard 115 grain ammo. Now, in the thumbnail, I did put something that was a bit catchy. I do apologize for that. I don't think that this thing sucks. I actually really like this. And if you've seen any of my other videos out there, you've probably heard me say I'm not the biggest Glock fan. Not saying that Glocks aren't good. I think that they're phenomenal guns. It's just, for me, I don't like the grip of these. I think it's similar to holding a 2x4 with rounded edges. All right, I just don't like it. I prefer other guns. But this combination here that Radian has done, you guys nailed it. I really love this, and now I want to start carrying this. And it kind of sucks because just of all the hoops that I'm gonna have to go through in order to get this gun on my CCW. It's pretty much stock, okay? I've got a stock trigger on there. I did change out the sights, so that is Trijicon HD night sights, but outside of that, everything is stock. I did put some grip tape on there like I do with most of my guns, just for added control and grip texture. I don't like stippling my guns personally, just in case if I ever do decide to sell them. If I stipple it, that might hurt me down the line. So I just put that on there. If I'm out shooting in the rain, this stuff starts coming off, I can just peel it off, put a new one on there, and I'm good to go. I let several people shoot this, and even one individual who has only shot 3 times before he shot this could feel a noticeable reduction in recoil. So unlike the Sig P226X-Carry Spectre Comp XL, another mouthful, that one you couldn't really tell, but once you started shooting it, you could start noticing it in small little differences here and there, that the recoil or that the compensator did work. Here it's much more noticeable, it's much more obvious. Again, even to this one person who has only shot 3 times, he didn't think that it did a whole lot, but it was there. All right, so adding this to your Glock 19, it does make the overall profile the same length as a Glock 17. So if you wanted to carry this in any type of holster, whether it's CCW, inside the waistband or outside the waistband, you are going to need a Glock 17 holster for it. Outside of that, it's the same. All right, so Radian does sell their own recoil spring. I believe it's a little expensive. I've only had 2 malfunctions after installing this, and it was within the first 30 rounds. The first one was my fiance. She was shooting a Glock for the very first time. She really loves my Walther Q4 SF. The grip is so much better on that. But yeah, she grabbed onto this. She has smaller hands. When I saw the malfunction, I thought maybe she was limp wristing it. Right after her, there was the RSO that works at the gun range that I go to. And within the first 3 or 4 rounds that he shot, he had the exact same issue. Outside of those 2, I haven't had any issues myself. This thing has been super reliable. The ejection pattern is pretty good. It's throwing casings a good distance whenever I'm shooting outdoors. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find that video where I showed the ejection pattern of it, but it's pretty darn good. All right, so for all you guys out there that really want to know the specs and what type of steel this is and so on, and kind of get off on that, no judgment, I'm going to read it right here. All right, so the Afterburner compensator is machined from hardened 17.4 SS and the Ramjet barrel from hardened 416R SS. Both are enhanced with DLC, diamond-like carbon coating. This combination achieves low friction, high hardness, and high corrosion resistance, making overall durability and erosion from muzzle blast a non-issue. And Radian, you guys put BAST, B-A-S-T on here, not blast. I'm assuming that you guys meant blast, so that's how I read it. The way that this thing works, it's got the interlock mounting system. It uses a tapered locking principle. The tapered locking screw interfaces with an angled V groove on the underside of the barrel. This perfectly times the compensator as it locks down onto the upper barrel profile on the muzzle end of the barrel. So what that is basically when you get this, this is your comp right here, this is separate, that's your barrel, and right here, you've got the little screw. All right, that's all you have to do. So you disassemble your firearm, take out the recoil spring, you take out your barrel, you drop in the new barrel, put the recoil spring back in there, assemble your gun, and then if you look, again, there's no one on that side, okay? Even though there's some noise coming from there. It's on the other side of the hill. It does kind of come up to this tip, right? Kind of comes up at the 12 o'clock position. So it's pretty easy, pretty obvious how you put this on. You can't possibly put this thing on incorrectly. And once it's on there, it does come with the necessary tool to screw that in. You just tighten it down. I'm not sure if you're supposed to use Loctite with it. I personally haven't. The first maybe 5 shots that I shot through this, I did have the little tool in order to lock this down. So I locked it down, or I gave it a nice firm twist on there. Once I met resistance, I gave it maybe another 1/15 of a turn. And then after 5 rounds, shooting it, I just checked it. It felt perfectly fine. I shot another 5 rounds, felt perfectly fine. Then I put a new magazine in it. I shot 10 rounds as fast as I possibly could. It felt fine. And then I put maybe 20 rounds through it. I checked it, right? It hasn't backed itself out. When I got home after shooting maybe 200 rounds that day, I tried taking it apart in order to clean my gun. And I'm not sure if it was carbon locking or not, or if it's just a very, very tight fit, but I wasn't able to get the comp off of the barrel. And I didn't have a mallet at that time. On the back of the box that I read, it does say that if you do get carbon lock and you do want to remove the comp from the barrel itself, you can just soak this overnight in Hops 9 black solution, and that should take care of it. I haven't done that yet because I don't have that much of that stuff, but being one who likes to clean my guns every time that I get back home from the range, even if I've just shot 5 rounds through it, I have been able to clean my gun very thoroughly without taking this comp off. So seeing that I've been able to do that now multiple times, I'm thinking I am going to put a little bit of Loctite in there just to make sure that it stays nice and secure. And as the title says, I mean, this is a 1500 round review. I've actually shot a little bit more than that, and I haven't had any issues. I've actually started forgetting to bring that tool with me to make sure that it's still locked in. So after yesterday's shooting, where I shot another maybe 200 rounds through this, I went back home, used the tool, checked if it had backed out or loosened at all, and I haven't had that issue. So again, not sure if you need to or not. Check in the description below because I did send Radian a message. I'm going to try calling them tomorrow. Today's Sunday. So tomorrow, Monday, see if I can get them on the phone and ask them that. Once I do figure it out, I will update the description and say, yes, they do require it, or they do recommend that you do it, or no, they don't. But as of right now, you guys do you. I take no responsibility if something happens. All right, so one of the things that I will say is that these things are also specific. So if you have a Gen 3 Glock, you need to purchase the Gen 3 combo. If you have a Gen 4, there's going to be one for that. Gen 5, there's going to be one for that. Now, I really hope that Radian starts working on something similar to this, but for the P365. Heck, if you guys can make something for the Walther Q4 SF, just saying. I think that'll make that gun even better. But yeah, that is that, guys.
Pull it off. See how hard his nipples are?
Yes.
You got turned on. How you?
Yeah.
You can't say it. We're gonna go up and share a bed too. What? What?
What?
Thank you.